Hey there, and welcome back to the Frequency Boss podcast. I am your host, Tedra Chanel. I'm so excited to be back on air. We did take a bit of a hiatus because I was relocating from Georgia back to Texas, and I've just been really taking time to get settled and reacclimated, and been working on the 2.0 edition of the I Am Manifestation Journal, along with its new companion, the Oh Shit I Manifested It brag book. Okay, so I've been knee deep in that project. And if you're interested in pre ordering your copy of either book or both books, you can go to my website, tedrachanel.com. And of course, when they are actually released to the world, when they go live, they will absolutely go live on Amazon and you all will be able to purchase there. But as of right now, it's the both books are still at their pre-order pricing, which means you'll be able to save some dollars, okay? Which is actually what we are talking about on today's episode is money mindset. I did a 2-class series over on my YouTube channel at Tedra Chanel over the last couple of weeks. And I decided to bring the conversation over to the podcast because I feel like it is very necessary. So I want to touch on my money mindset and how long it took me to actually get a hold of it. And I think I know that am still a work in progress, right? So growing up in, my households, my mom was not bad with money at all, okay? But she never really talked about money. And if you are a melanated person, African American person, chances are you experience the same thing. I really don't know what it is about black people and talking about money, okay? It's like, blasphemous if you talk about money in the household. It's just something that the parents deal with. They deal with the monthly budgets on their own, and they never really involve the children. Don't really understand that. But my mom was an entrepreneur. She always worked for herself, and she worked really hard. She was a designer, seamstress, and she would be up all night making wedding dresses and things like that. And she did not charge enough, nowhere near enough. And even though I was just a kid, I knew that she wasn't charging enough because I knew how to do math. And I was like, okay, well, the raw materials cost this amount of money. You're spending this amount of hours to make this one dress, and you're charging what? Like, it was crazy. But as far as my mom ever talking to me about money, it never really happened. But she was pretty good with it. She had pretty good credit, and she always had money on her. Even though she would say that she was broke, she didn't have any money, she always had at least $100 bill hidden somewhere in her purse. But going into my adulthood, I think like so many people, my money mindset was stuck on poverty. And every dime that I would make after paying my bills, I was going to find something that I could use the extra money on. If I had an extra $200, I was going to find a way to spend $201, right? Money mindset all effed up. Okay, so I remember working at this cafe. It was a bakery slash cafe. And the owner was a multimillionaire. She had worked her way up from the bottom. Like, okay, she and her late husband, they started this sound company where basically they installed sound systems, surround sound, that's what I'm trying to say, surround sound in luxury homes, right? Excuse me. And she and her husband worked on this business and they built it from nothing. And it, created some multimillionaires. He eventually passed away. But then she continued to open up businesses. She had businesses all over, office space, commercial space, restaurants. She had this bakery. She was either full owner or at least part owner in multiple businesses. And eventually she sold the sound company, which was, I believe it was called Sound Perfection. I'm almost positive that was the name. She eventually sold it, after many years of owning it, she sold it. But anyway, she always tried to give me advice as far as money was concerned. And at the time, this was about, 7 years ago. That's not that long ago. 7 years ago, I was about 32 years old, still stuck in that stupid poverty mindset. And I had worked. I was working full time and going to school full time and raising my kids all by myself. So I felt like I deserved a Louis Vuitton Speedy 30. Okay. And at the time, I think they were $880 plus, of course, good old tax. So that's what I really wanted. And I started saving up my money. I wasn't that bad with money. I wasn't great, but I wasn't terrible. But I started saving up my money. Every month I would put a little bit of money away, and then income tax came, right? And I was able to take from my income tax and add to what I'd already saved, went to the Louis store, and I purchased my bag, right? So I was so excited because I've been talking about purchasing this bag for months and Sundays. I'd also talked about it with Tammy, and she was like, "Girl, you don't need that. You do not need $1,000 bag. Like, come on." So, I was so excited, and I get to work and I showed her. I was like, look what I finally was able to purchase. And she looked at me like, "Girl, didn't I tell you not to buy that? Didn't I tell you not to get that?" And she said, "You have small children. What the heck are you thinking?" And I was like, "Well, I worked hard for it, and, I saved my little money up, and I feel like I deserve it." And she was like, "Well, okay," but I could see the judgment. I could see it on her face, and I could hear it in her voice. And to be honest, it kind of pissed me off a little bit. I was like, wait a minute. Why would she not congratulate me and all of this, right? The stupidest mindset ever. And so eventually her words began to wear at me, and I sold it. I was like, maybe she's right. Maybe I should take the advice from a multimillionaire that has businesses all over Frisco, Texas. Maybe I should listen, right? Maybe this was a dumb idea. Because unfortunately, I had this $900 purse, but I didn't have $900 to put in the purse. So that was incredibly stupid. I held on to it for a couple of months and kept it in pristine condition. Eventually, I sold it, right? So that's what we're talking about tonight. I know how so many of us would love to have, all of the Chanel bags in the world, the Louis bags, and all of that. And there's nothing wrong with that if you have the money to do so, right? If you are in an amazing financial position. But if you are wanting to purchase a purse, and let's say a Chanel bag is, I think, can you get one for $4,000 or is it closer to $5,000? I don't know. Let's go with $5,000. That's a lot for a purse, okay? So let's say you have $5,000, you decide to blow your income tax money and purchase this Chanel bag because you feel like you deserve it and because everybody on Instagram has one, so you deserve one too. All right. But if you don't have at least 10 times that amount in your bank account, I don't think it really makes sense. With $5,000, you can legit purchase a plot of land, a lot of land, excuse me, and sit on it and then eventually sell it, right? You may be able to get some land even cheaper than that if you go to the courthouse and buy some land that was taken due to back taxes. It just really doesn't make sense. And the other night I started really thinking about this because on my vision board I have two of my dream cars. One is a Tesla X, and the other is a Maserati Levante. Okay, and I've been talking about the Levante for just a lot lately. And then I was thinking, okay, we live in an apartment, and I know how much my rent is. I could legit be living in probably a $400,000, close to a $400,000 home for the amount that I'm paying in rent. Okay, I'm grateful that I have the money to pay the rent. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying at some point we really have to start to really assess our money, right? So I was like, you know what? Even when I do get to the point where I can purchase this Maserati Levante, I don't think that I will. Now, I'm still open to the universe blessing me with that Levante in any way other than, me having to pay for it. And I think even then, I would sell it and invest the money. Maybe in 5 years, I will purchase my dream car. I'll continue to drive, less expensive cars. I drive a Toyota Prius right now. Amazing on gas, right? I could put $10. How much does it cost to fill up my car? Well, gas is going up a lot. It might cost about $18 or so to fill up my tank. And from there, I don't travel much. I don't really, drive too much. So I might fill up my car twice a month. That's just how good on gas it is. But I really just started to, our money classes over on YouTube really got me to thinking. I'm like, okay, even like how would it look to drive a Maserati right now and you live in an apartment? $100,000 vehicle, right, would be an amazing down payment on the home. It would be more than enough to find a property that may be in foreclosure status that I could possibly pay cash for. You know what I mean? Like my brain just started to really go. And so anyway, also something that I really wanted to touch on in today's episode is I want to talk to the people who feel as though they don't have any money to start another business or to invest in, right? And so, we actually looked at a budget on one of the classes. I think it was our first class. And we, started with a person who makes about $2,000 a month, which is nothing. And we did this whole budget. And at the end of the budget, they didn't have any money left. Like this person was fictional, right? It wasn't a real person. But at the end of it all, this person didn't have enough money to cover all of their bills, plus be able to eat. But let's just say you're doing a little bit better than this individual. And at the end of the month, you're left with about $5. Okay? $5. And you're like, all of your bills are paid, but you don't know you don't know how you're going to be able to come up with more money. And so a person with a poor poverty mindset, what they would do is depend on payday loans. So they'll go out and get payday loans, which are hella high interest. What are they, like 150, 200% interest? It's ridiculous, right? And then get themselves in a hole because they'll never be able to pay this money back. And then what happens is they're going to have to shut down their checking account, open up a new one, and it's just a whole big ass mess, right? A person with the wrong mindset would take that $5 and say, you know what? This is all they have left. They might as well, be happy, right? Do something with it and be happy, okay? What would they do? Probably go to Popeyes and get a $4.99 meal, Jack and a Crack, whatever. And they eat for, a couple of hours, right? They're full for a couple of hours and then they're hungry again, but they are completely broke. So here is what I would suggest a person in that position would do. Number one, stop saying that you're broke. Number one, okay? Because our language keeps us in experiences and situations because we keep speaking them into existence. So every time that you say that you're broke, you're just speaking more brokenness into your existence. That's number one. All right. So here is what I would do if I only had $5 left and I knew that $5, no matter what type of magic I used, would not stretch for the rest of the month. It's the first of the month, right? And you have another 30 days to go. How in the hell are you going to get $5 to stretch? This is how. Okay? In 2019, it's way too easy to make money. Way too easy. You don't have to actually go out and get a job anymore. You can legit start a business from your home. Okay? So this is what I would suggest one do. You can go on Shopify.com. I will put a link in the description or in the show notes. Excuse me. I'm so used to saying description over on YouTube. I will put a link in the show notes. Why? Because people are lazy nowadays and they probably don't even understand what I'm saying. They're like, oh, how do I spell that? I don't know how to spell that. I don't know what she said. So I can't do what she's suggesting I do, right? Excuses. So I'm going to put the link in the show notes. It's Shopify.com. They have a 14-day trial. All right. And no, I'm not getting paid. This is not a sponsored episode. Okay. But they have a 14-day trial where you don't have to pay any money for 14 days. They also have a drop shipping option. Okay. It's free. You can sign up for the drop shipping option. It's linked to your Shopify account. You can set up your Shopify, website really, really easily. It's very user-friendly, even for someone like me who don't know jack about web design. Super easy. It's plug and play, right? Go on YouTube, which is free. Okay, YouTube is still free today. As of today, it's still free. Go on YouTube. Research how to find or what are the best products to sell on your Shopify store. Okay. Google. You can Google the same thing. It's free. Google is still free as of today. All right. So those are going to be your two largest research tools, Google and YouTube. And you can go and figure out what the trends are right now. We're going into spring, or maybe it is actually spring. I don't keep up with this sort of stuff. But right, so people are, wearing clothes that were not covered up as much anymore, swimsuit season, the whole nine. So you can figure out what are the best products to put on your Shopify store. Okay. And then you can start to Google and YouTube ways to market your Shopify store on your social media. Okay. You still haven't paid any money. The only thing that you've paid in is your time. That is it. Okay. And then you might be saying, but Tedra, I don't really have a large following. So how do I do this? Okay. Here's where the $5 comes in at. You can legit set up a Facebook ad that will also play over on Instagram for $5. Okay. Now, this is what you're going to need to do. Again, YouTube, Google, to figure out how to put together the right type of ad. Okay. So you can get it in front of the right people so you don't blow your $5. All right. But just a little bit of research. Okay. There are some amazing videos on YouTube that will, of people taking you through Facebook ads and how to really put them together and how to set up the audience, the eyeballs, and how to write the copy. All of that is going to take you time, but you have nothing but time on your hands because you only have $5 and you can't go anywhere. You have no gas in your car to go no extra gas to go anywhere extra. And then even if you did get there, you don't have any money to spend. Okay? So this is all about putting money in your bank account within 2 weeks for $5. Okay? So that is what I suggest you do. Shopify stores have brought millions of dollars into people's bank accounts over the last couple of years or so. It's a great platform to use. It's free for 14 days, user friendly. Take that little $5 that you have left, set up a Facebook ad, and boom, right? You should be able to bring in something within that 2-week period of time, all right? You have to figure out something to do to survive. And I don't know of any other way that you can take that $5, invest it, and flip it that is easier than setting up a drop ship store for $0 and then taking the $5 and setting up a Facebook ad so that you can actually get some sales. Okay, so in 2019, there's no reason that anybody should be able to say that they're broke. They don't have enough money. The job doesn't pay them enough. The cost of living is too high. All of the excuses that so many people choose to make are null and void. I don't care if you don't have any legs. You might be saying that, well, you can't even walk because you don't have any legs anymore for whatever reason. Child, all you got to do is be able to sit down at your computer, at your desk, and put together a money-making machine, okay? Zero excuses. I get so sick and tired of people making excuses. It does not take a full year to put together a business, okay? It doesn't. You can legit over a weekend set up shop over the weekend. Today is Friday. Over the weekend, you can set up shop, y'all, and have a full-fledged business going by Monday morning. All right? Stop with the excuses. And then when you start to make money, all right, profit some money, and then start paying yourself, then we can talk about how we can get to purchasing those Chanel bags and whatnot. But that is like on my 5-year radar at this point. My dream cars, the Chanel bag, all of the material things. And I can tell you this, even after you get the cars, the purses, the whatever, once the feeling of having it expires, it goes away, then you're going to be sitting there and saying, okay, well, now I have the Chanel bag, but now what? At the end of the day, it's just a purse. At the end of the day, it's just a purse that you spent $5,000 on. And yeah, they retain their value pretty well, but do they actually appreciate in value? Maybe once they become vintage after about 20 years, maybe they do. I don't know how good of an investment a Chanel bag is, right? It's just not all that smart in the moment if you have zero assets. Okay. I think the statistic is somewhere around the average Black person has about $5 in assets. All right. Which is terrible, by the way, just in case you didn't know. So we are going to shut those statistics down, right? And we're going to take that $5 that they say we are worth, and we're going to flip that $5 and make and tap into a well of uncapped money. Okay? So that is what we are going to do. Yes? So what I want you all to do is to rate this episode, okay, by commenting down wherever you are, whether you're on Spotify or if you're on iTunes, wherever you are, where else are we? SoundCloud, Spreaker, wherever. And I want you to let me know if you're going to actually do this or not. Even a lot of you guys, excuse me, where are my words? It's too early for this. It's too early. My voice is like, no, girl, it's too early to be talking. A lot of you all actually DM me on Instagram, sharing your thoughts about my different podcast episodes, which I love. So if you want to DM me and let me know whether or not you're going to do this. And then once you do it, once you set up your store, I need the link to your store. I want to be able to see it, because we must start to do better in 2019. So again, I'm your host, Tedra Chanel. This has been another episode of the Frequency Boss podcast. Please do not forget to visit my Shopify store, tedrachanel.com, to pre-order your copy of the I Am Manifestation Journal 2.0 and the Oh Shit, I Manifested It brag book. You can also go to frequencyboss.com to check out our gear, our high vibe gear, as well as our new luxury candle line, both on Shopify, right? All right, guys, we're going to talk again on next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Goodbye.